Good morning, gardening friends. Today is Sunday, May 28th, and I hope you're out enjoying this Memorial Day weekend. Here it's beautifully sunny. It's about 7:30, and it's only about 68 or 69 right now, so it's beautiful. Humidity's not too bad. I did do a little bit of work in the backyard. I thinned out this yellow coral sedum and split off 6 chunks of it, or at least a bunch of it, and I grouped them into 6 clumps, and I planted one in each of the directions, north, south, east, west, around my sundial. We'll see if they catch. I don't like to put sedum in the ground. My experience with it is, of course, it grows rampantly, but it is a pain to weed out because the weeds will come up through it. And although this sedum is a thug in terms of spreading, it's delicate in terms of ease in breaking branches. So you'll notice that you've been weeding when you have these holes, big clumps of sedum. I did go ahead and, oh, there's a bee working over the spiderwort. I thinned the spiderwort out from around the Lenten roses. That's where I threw the sedum that I didn't put anywhere else. I just threw it on the ground as a test to see if it'll grow without actually being stuck in the ground. And here is the Lenten rose still in bloom. I had to thin a lot of the wandering dude out of it. And I have my pointer. Here you can see the flowers are still nice. That has been going since what, February? I did go ahead and plant this little window box up. I wound up using 1 coleus in a yellow-green color and then 2 ornamental sweet potatoes. So actually this whole area will be covered in potato things, sweet potatoes and potato vines. Hopefully I am not setting myself up for a disappointment, because it may attract those bugs that eat the potato vines. We'll see. Only time will tell. The alamanda is still doing nicely. This is a deep, deep red alamanda. I don't know how well that's going to come out because it's in the shade, but it is pretty. No scent. And these flowers are still opening on this particular Lenten rose. I'm bringing the pointer because we're going to be going into the potager. I can point out the different vegetables that I planted. This is the weekend to go ahead and plant your vegetables up, or at least hopefully have them all in the ground by now. Here you can see this coleus has done really well. This yellowish green or chartreuse color seemed to really grow much faster than the other two, but it is what it is. I'm going to just let it get big and fluffy. I did have to cut the ivy out from around it because the ivy was starting to overwhelm it. It likes to grow where you don't want it to grow, but yet there are holes in the back here in the ivy, where last year I had the cinder block put underneath my house to keep animals from going underneath it. So it's not, bottom line is it's not spreading where you want it to spread, as is always the case. I did shape up these topiaries, and they're doing better this year. These variegated ivies I planted last year, and they are doing well. I tied them up again. These were sprouts that I took from the first topiary that always does so well. And you can see I've already tied them up, so it is growing. It did catch. You can see my neighbor's Nico blue hydrangeas. Looks really pretty next to the wild spiderwort. It's kind of a nice combination with the balloon flower and chrysanthemums, and actually the purple. I still have gardenias in bloom. This big patch, by the way, over here is creeping oregano, and it does extremely well. That's a 3-year-old plant, so frost does not hurt it in the least. I'm just letting it do its own thing. I've kind of, in this little graveled area under the table or around the table, it's kind of like my Mediterranean garden, if you will, in all of the rock. And I just let the plants kind of do what they want to do. Under this rock, by the way, is landscape fabric. And you can see it does not stop the weeds from coming up for more than a couple of years. What happens is you get bits of dirt that gradually accumulate in the rocks, in between the rocks, and even though the landscape fabric is underneath, you're still going to get weed germination. Landscape fabric is good if you want to suppress some kind of a weed that's underneath it. However, you will still eventually get weeds coming up. Maybe not the ones that you suppressed. Here, you can see my lantana is doing well. This is the Oswego tea. What's the other name of that? I can't think of it right. Bee balm. And sage and dill. And here's where I planted 3 of the okra. You can see I've got some red tomatoes. They're not going to get much bigger than that. I don't have luck in this spot in the front yard with large tomatoes, but cherry tomatoes do extremely well, so that's primarily what I grow here. There's some more okra. This is a daisy I just moved there, a coneflower. This is Thai basil. And I put another cilantro in down here. Oh, the other thing I planted was an eggplant. I got the long skinny eggplants, Ichiban, or Ichiban, I don't know how you pronounce that. My parsley is doing really well. Of course, I planted that back in the fall. And here, although it doesn't look like much, right there, is ginger. That's the ginger I got from the grocery store and let it sprout next to my onions inside the storage bin in my house of onions, and then planted it out. This side kind of mirrors that of the other side, except things don't seem to want to cooperate in being very symmetrical, although they're planted symmetrically. You can see here this bee balm is humongous compared to a quarter the size just across the sidewalk. This tall thing is the 4 o'clock. Oh, I have another coneflower there. I'd forgotten I planted it. And of course you still see the foxgloves. Again, okra. These tomatoes haven't turned red yet, but you can see I've got a bunch of little green tomatoes. This is the older cilantro. Once when it blooms, it's pretty much going to die back, which is why I went ahead and planted the other cilantro on the other side. Here's where I put my regular basil. This here. This is lemon balm. And I also put in some more okra. And again, an eggplant here. And here's where I stuck all of the beans. Uh-oh, that one got snapped again. Well, is what it is. I'm going to start some more seeds because I like to have more than one harvest, although by the looks of things that one may not do real well, but it is what it is. And here you can see the other ginger. It's a little taller back there. I put it there because it's supposed to get about, oh, I don't know, about 2 to 3 feet tall. It's kind of like the ginger lilies we have. And actually the butterfly gingers, I've read that they're edible. However, this, I don't like to take chances eating plants, so that I'm not absolutely certain of. I know this ginger was purchased as ginger from the grocery store, and so you can eat that. And I've been told you can actually make a tea with the leaves, so you can harvest all parts of that particular type of ginger. Not a lot going on over here new. My Montpressia, I guess is one name for it, that I transplanted. Looks kind of pitiful right now, but I really transplanted it at the wrong time of the year. But it really doesn't make a difference. It's not going to die. It's just going to look a little the worse for wear. I did have a tactical error when I planted that. I forgot that that's a ridge in my roof, and water, when it shoots off the roof, comes down and will pelt that. So that's one of the reasons why it flopped around the way it did. But since I got it for free, I just left it. Here, I went ahead and staked up this fig tree. I had removed the stake that it came with, because you can see little rub rings here where it was starting to eat into the flesh of the tree. And I didn't put a stake on it, but it turned out it was too floppy in the wind. So I went ahead and staked it. And then look at this. It's got figs. I don't know if they're going to make. I didn't expect it for the first year. But what I did do yesterday is I ordered some netting to keep the birds away from the figs. I got it from Walmart. It's going to come in a few days. So I don't think I have anything to worry about until the figs start turning color. These are supposed to be black with a red or a pink interior. Here's my zucchini. Is doing really well. This zucchini, I planted 3 hills. This is another little zucchini, and I got tired of waiting, so I bought a bush type cucumber and planted it in there. And that was pretty much what I was doing with the vegetables. Oh, back in here is some borage. Those were the seeds that I started. Actually, this borage is doing the best. The ones in the backyard, for some reason, although I've grown them in the same spots in past years, they're not growing as fast as these. So this must be the perfect spot for borage. Here, not much has changed. The wandering dude, these are all cuttings that I just stuck in the ground a couple of weeks ago, is still looking okay. My salvias. This one likes to wilt. The other 3 usually are fine, but that particular one likes to wilt. But that's about it for the day. I just wanted to show you the front yard, the vegetables. They're basically all in. And now it's just a matter of waiting till harvest. Oh, there's a bird up in the tree. I don't know if you can see it. That's the one bird that I can't quite identify. I've been looking through my bird books. I will eventually get it. It has feathers like a cedar waxwing, but it's just right now an enigma. I don't know exactly what it is. And here you can see the blossom stalk of the palm here. This is the sable minor. It's doing pretty well. And that's about it for the day. Let me get a shot of the house here without making you all dizzy. I hope you all have a very good Memorial Day weekend, and I'll see you all next week. Take care.